On a tense Monday night in the Middle East, reports emerged that Iran had launched ballistic missiles toward targets in Israel, marking a significant escalation in an already fragile regional security environment. In cities such as Tel Aviv, emergency sirens echoed across residential districts as civilians moved into underground shelters. Initial reports from international news agencies indicated casualties and structural damage, even as Israeli air defense systems intercepted many incoming projectiles. For observers around the world, the event was not simply another episode in a long-standing rivalry. It was a moment that highlighted how rapidly evolving missile technologies and layered defense systems are reshaping strategic calculations across the region. The relationship between Iran and Israel has been defined for decades by indirect confrontation, covert operations, and proxy dynamics rather than direct, large-scale state-to-state missile exchanges. However, the reported launch of ballistic missiles from Iranian territory toward Israeli targets signals a more overt form of military engagement. Such an action, if confirmed in its full scope, represents a shift from shadow conflict toward direct signaling through strategic weapons. In a region already influenced by ongoing tensions in Gaza, Lebanon, Syria, and the broader Persian Gulf, the implications extend well beyond the immediate damage assessment. According to open-source military analyses, Iran is believed to have employed a mix of medium and intermediate-range ballistic missiles, including systems identified as Sejil, Gader, and Shahab variants. These missiles are designed to travel hundreds to thousands of kilometers, following a high-altitude ballistic trajectory before re-entering the atmosphere at extremely high speeds. The physics of such flight paths make interception complex. Once a ballistic missile leaves the boost phase and enters mid-course flight, it travels along a predictable arc, but during re-entry it can descend at velocities that challenge even advanced missile defense networks. Israel's defense architecture is widely regarded as one of the most layered and technologically advanced in the world. Systems such as Iron Dome, David's Sling, and Arrow are designed to address threats at different ranges and altitudes. Iron Dome focuses primarily on short-range rockets and artillery shells. David's Sling is intended to intercept medium-range threats, including cruise missiles. The Arrow system, particularly its more advanced variants, is optimized for high-altitude interception of ballistic missiles, including potential exo-atmospheric engagement. Despite these capabilities, reports indicated that while many projectiles were intercepted, several penetrated defenses and struck urban or infrastructural targets. No missile defense system offers a perfect interception rate. Defense planners generally acknowledge that even a high success percentage can still result in impacts when facing multiple simultaneous launches. This raises analytical questions about the scale and coordination of the attack. Was this a limited retaliatory strike designed primarily for political signaling, or did it represent a stress test of Israel's layered defense network? The answer may shape military procurement and doctrinal decisions not only in Israel but across the broader Middle East. One of the most closely watched aspects of the reported strike is the possible use of MIRV technology, or multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicles. In theory, a MIRV-capable missile can carry several warheads, each programmed to strike a different target. While definitive public confirmation remains limited, speculation about MIRV deployment has drawn attention because it significantly complicates missile defense. Instead of intercepting a single re-entry vehicle, defenders may face multiple objects descending simultaneously. Even the perception that such capability is being operationalized can alter strategic deterrence calculations. Ballistic missile development has long been central to Iran's defense strategy. Restricted by decades of sanctions and limitations on conventional air power procurement, Tehran invested heavily in missile technology as a means of asymmetric deterrence. From a strategic standpoint, missiles provide range, relative survivability, and signaling value. They can be launched from dispersed platforms and do not require air superiority to reach distant targets. For Israel, whose national security doctrine emphasizes rapid response and technological superiority, countering missile threats has become a cornerstone of defense planning. the broader geopolitical environment must also be considered. The Middle East sits at the crossroads of major global trade routes, including maritime corridors through the eastern Mediterranean and the Red Sea. Any direct military exchange between Iran and Israel introduces uncertainty into energy markets and shipping lanes. Even if the physical confrontation remains geographically limited, financial markets often respond to perceived risk. Insurance premiums for commercial shipping can rise. Energy prices may fluctuate. Diplomatic channels may become strained as external powers assess their interests. The involvement or reaction of external actors remains a key variable. The United States maintains deep security ties with Israel and a military presence across the region. Russia and China, each with distinct regional partnerships and global strategic ambitions, monitor developments closely. European states, dependent in varying degrees on Middle Eastern energy supplies and invested in non-proliferation frameworks, also face policy recalibration challenges. If missile exchanges become more frequent, could regional powers accelerate their own ballistic or missile defense programs? Could this event trigger new arms control discussions, or instead contribute to further proliferation? Another critical dimension is escalation management. Ballistic missiles are inherently strategic weapons due to their range and destructive potential. Their use carries symbolic weight that exceeds that of many conventional systems. Yet escalation is not automatic. States may calibrate strikes carefully to avoid crossing certain thresholds. Target selection, warhead type, and launch volume can all signal intent. Analysts will closely examine whether the strikes focused on military infrastructure, symbolic urban areas, or mixed targets. Such distinctions can indicate whether the objective was deterrence reinforcement, retaliation, or broader strategic messaging. Civil defense responses also reveal the societal dimension of modern missile warfare. In Tel Aviv and other urban centers, the rapid movement of civilians into shelters underscores how missile threats blur the line between front line and home front. Advanced warning systems and reinforced infrastructure reduce casualties, but the psychological impact of sirens and impacts can be profound. Over time, repeated alerts may influence public opinion, political discourse, and national resilience strategies. From a technological perspective, the confrontation illustrates the dynamic interplay between offensive and defensive innovation. As missile accuracy improves and countermeasures become more sophisticated, defense systems must adapt with enhanced radar discrimination, faster interceptors, and integrated command networks. The potential introduction of hypersonic glide vehicles or maneuverable reentry vehicles in future arsenals would add another layer of complexity. In this sense, the reported strike is part of a broader global pattern in which missile technology evolves rapidly, often outpacing arms control frameworks established in previous decades. Strategically, the key question is sustainability. Can both sides maintain calibrated deterrence without sliding into sustained direct conflict? History in the region suggests that indirect confrontation has often prevailed over open warfare between these two states. However, each new technological milestone changes risk assessments. If one side believes its defenses are sufficiently robust, it may accept higher levels of confrontation. Conversely, if vulnerabilities are exposed, leaders may seek new capabilities to restore balance. There is also the diplomatic dimension. Periods of heightened military tension sometimes lead to renewed back-channel negotiations. In other cases, they harden positions and reduce space for compromise. Observers will watch for signals such as public statements, military mobilizations, or third-party mediation efforts. Even limited missile exchanges can reshape alliance structures, accelerate procurement of advanced systems, and influence domestic political debates about security priorities. In reflecting on these events, it is important to maintain analytical clarity. The reported missile launches and interceptions are not isolated technical incidents. They sit at the intersection of history, deterrence theory, technological competition, and regional geopolitics. They demonstrate how modern conflicts can unfold at high speed, with decisions made in minutes carrying strategic consequences for years. At the same time, it is essential to avoid sensationalism. Open-source reporting provides valuable insight, but information in the immediate aftermath of military events is often incomplete or evolving. Independent verification can take time. Analysts must distinguish between confirmed facts, preliminary assessments, and speculation. Responsible examination of security issues requires patience and careful evaluation of evidence. In conclusion, the reported ballistic missile strike from Iran toward Israel represents more than a moment of acute tension. It highlights the growing centrality of missile technology in regional deterrence strategies, the challenges facing even the most advanced defense systems, and the broader implications for global security architecture. Whether this episode becomes a turning point or a contained escalation will depend on strategic choices made in the days and weeks that follow. For international observers, policymakers, and citizens alike, understanding the technical, political, and strategic dimensions of such events is critical. This analysis remains grounded in publicly available information and is intended to foster informed discussion. It does not endorse any action taken by any party, nor does it seek to assign moral or political judgment. As missile technology and regional dynamics continue to evolve, careful, fact-based assessment will remain essential for navigating an increasingly complex security landscape.